Tonight, find out what campus event was held in person today for the first time since the start of the pandemic.
And see how SUNY Oswego Counseling Service Center is planning to commemorate Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And what SUNY Oswego students are doing tonight to raise awareness for and combat against sexual violence.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Matt Carnevale.
And I'm Jocelyn Decker.
SUNY Oswego is participating in the annual Take Back the Night event tonight. The event, sponsored by the Women's Center with support of It's on Oz, is a long-standing event created to raise awareness for and help combat against sexual violence. The event will feature performances by the Oswego Gospel Choir and the Oswego Poetry Society, along with guest speakers, including SUNY Oswego President Deborah Stanley.
Attendees of this event will create posters and hold to showcase support during the march of traditional march around campus. Organizers of the Take Back the Night say the event helps provide a voice to those that need it, and the best way to show support is to show up and educate oneself on the topic of sexual violence.
The month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the SUNY Oswego Counseling Service Center is preparing an event to spread awareness and help those in need of self-care. SUNY Oswego prohibits any form of interpersonal violence and encourages the reporting of instances so that they may be investigated. If you need help or know someone in need of help with domestic violence concerns, call 1-800-799-7233.
In addition to Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Oswego Health supported this with a virtual event on Facebook Live called A Healthier You. Many health specialists participated in the event, including Dr. Lisa Lai, a breast surgeon, Dr. Ra Muhanjan of Oswego OBGYN, and Dr. Elise Bonashkevich of Upstate Cancer and Radiation Center. They talked about women's wellness, treatment, and prevention on the topic of breast cancer awareness.
On campus, several opportunities have arisen today for students to take that next step into furthering their career. Numerous events have been held today here at SUNY Oswego. This includes a graduate fair. Now the fair took place 11-1 in Murano, and it's the first time in 2 years it has been able to be held in person since the start of the pandemic. Alongside that graduation fair, an on-campus internship expo has also happened right here in Murano. Organizers say dozens of off-campus or on-campus internships appeared for students to look into.
It allows students to get opportunities on their campus. So you don't have to go anywhere, you're familiar with the people that are being here, and you're going to be helping your community by participating in these internships.
And we brought back the graduate school fair in person for a few reasons. We think, people talking in person, that impact is so much greater, and students get a lot more out of it. And our graduate school reps are absolutely thrilled that we're back in person. We're one of the very few schools this semester anywhere in New York State that is doing in-person events. And
the fairs are continuing into next week, so if you missed this one, don't worry. Stay tuned for more of these events, which you can find on the SUNY Oswego events page.
The City of Oswego will be receiving some help from the leading aluminum survivor supplier, Novels Incorporated. The company plans on investing approximately $130 million into their Oswego mill, allowing for more aluminum to be pressed. The plan will also coincide with Nova's goal to increase efficiency energy in its mills. President of Nova's North America, Tom Boney, says the plant will strengthen Nova's ability to thrive in Oswego as a great place to work and a partner to the community.
Oswego's theater department is putting on their first in-person production since the pandemic. Reporter Xavier Brissett got a chance to sit down with the director.
After a long year and a half of online learning, places like Tyler Hall on SUNY Oswego's campus are finally coming back to life. This is due to people like Professor Stephen Mazzacone, who have got the ball back up and rolling. Mazzacone is the director of the fall production Elsewhere. When asked, "What are you most excited about?" Mazzacone responded,
I'm excited that the show is free. I'm excited that we're finally able to offer in-person live theater. Not only is it important to our curriculum in our department, but it's important to the community. It's important for the students in our department to feel like they're offering something to their friends and to the college community as a whole.
The theater department has faced a number of challenges with the recent COVID-19 pandemic. However, Mazzacone is hoping students will come out and show their support. Mazzacone says,
and we're really hoping that people turn out. I think it's been a hard time for live events and particularly for artists. And so for the students, it would mean a lot if people would show their support and actually come out to the show.
As Mazzacone mentioned, tickets to watch this semester's production Elsewhere are free. The production will take place October 20th through the 24th in Tyler Hall's own Waterman Theater. All you have to do is go to tickets.oswego.edu, then go to the Categories taskbar on the left-hand side. Click on the Theater tab, and the link for Elsewhere tickets is the first thing that pops up. Xavier Brissett, WTOP 10 News.
Thanks, Xavier. The Elsewhere production will have a showing every day until Sunday the 24th, so make sure to get your tickets.
New guidelines have just been released by the state, claiming that employers are not allowed to drug test employees for cannabis. Although employers may prohibit the use of marijuana during work hours or on-call periods, they cannot prohibit it in the employee's home or test employees unless federal or state law requires it. The only way to take action against an employee for the use of marijuana is if the employer can provide evidence that the articulate symptoms of impairment.
Mayor Bill de Blasio has announced that all municipal workers in New York City must be able to show proof of vaccination against COVID-19. Before October 29th, all city workers must be able to provide proof that they have received at least one dose of the vaccine from any provider. Anyone who does not show their vaccine card by then will be put on unpaid leave until they are able to present it. Coming up later tonight, find out why the best tennis player in the world might miss the Australian Open.
And hear about the President Biden's plan to vaccinate children against COVID-19.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Evan Biedron.
Hi, we'll be some cold temperatures throughout the rest of the week. Heading into the weekend, we can expect to see some showers start to increase. And then for next week, we can see some clouds throughout the rest of the week, which is typical for Oswego, New York around this time. Pretty gloomy, pretty fall-like, and I'll have more in your 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber.
Breathe right into your foot.
Your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Here at WTOP, we pride ourselves on delivering you all the news you need to know from the day's events.
Whether it's happened on Capitol Hill or right here in Oswego,
we make sure you know all about it. We keep you up to date on all your favorite
Oswego and professional sports.
And our Storm Team 10 meteorologist will make sure that you know exactly what weather you're up against when you start your day.
Every Monday through Thursday night, make sure to tune in to Channel 10.2, because at WTOP, we don't just tell you the news.
We are
the news.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion. Learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
Hi, welcome back to WTOP 10. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Evan Bedron. For the rest of the week, we can see some fall-like temperatures with rain returning for the weekend, and heading into next week, we can see the chance of increased cloud cover. And then something new here for WTOP Storm Team 10 is on this date. And then on this date, October 20th, 1983, remnants of Pacific Hurricane Tico caused extensive flooding in central and south central Oklahoma. Oklahoma City set daily rainfall records with 1.45 inches of rain on the 19th and 6.28 inches of rain on the 20th. And then for fall foliage outlook for New York State right now, you can see most of the state right now is still past peak. Temperature or foliage in central Rochester, central New York region is still maybe around peak, just maybe heading up there in a couple days. And then for your temperatures throughout New York, you can see some milder temperatures throughout central New York. And then as you move east towards eastern New York, you can see some warmer temperatures. And then down south towards New York City, Long Island area, you can see some warmer temperatures in the lower 70s. And then for your tonight's forecast, you can see some clouds for the rest of the night, heading into tomorrow morning with temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s, winds generally light. And for your bus stop forecast, make sure to send those kids off to school with a raincoat because it'll be a rainy one, chance of showers, and it'll be upper 50s temperatures. And then heading home, you can see some temperatures in the upper 60s, mostly cloudy. You may be able to ditch that jacket on the way home. And then for your 7-day forecast, you can see some rain for the rest of the week, with sun returning for earlier next week and more cloud cover returning for the rest of the week, with temperatures in the upper 50s and more fall-like temperatures. Stay tuned for more, and this is WTOP 10, and we'll have more after the break.
Each year, there are more than a dozen significant tropical and winter storms that threaten the East Coast. So chances are there will be more hurricanes and blizzards near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Let's get right back into it. An old dog has a new trick that's going viral. It's so new, he's predicting the future. CNN's Gene Moose reports on the pug's predictions.
Introducing
You really have to put that away, sir.
the pug prognosticator who has tongues wagging, Noodle, the 13-year-old dog tickling funny bones with his bones or no bones pronouncements.
Oh my gosh, there are bones today. Okay, all right, you know what that means. Treat yourself today.
But please, no bones to pick on those mornings when the opposite happens. When Noodle flops, so can you, using him as an excuse.
Hey Liz, I'm so sorry. I actually don't have bones, and I can't meet you and your crappy boyfriend for a drink after work.
Ever since Jonathan Graziano adopted Noodle almost 6 years ago,
Noodle calls the shots.
Noodle makes it clear if he's not ready to get up in the morning.
He would just go completely boneless and he would just flop on me.
Now the internet is taking its cues from a 23-pound pug on whether it's going to be a Bones Day.
Standing like a deep-rooted tree.
Or a No Bones Day.
Oh, a soft collapse.
Followers are putting their fate in Noodle's bones.
Do I believe in astrology? No. Do I believe in that dog? Yes.
They're making no bones about singing Noodle's praises.
If it's a no bones day, I just stay in bed. Noodle said it's fine if I don't get dressed. His legs are made of jello.
At a colonial museum in Trenton, New Jersey, Noodle rules.
Pack it in, David. We're done for the day.
What? Why?
Don't worry about that. It's a no bones day.
Oh, okay.
You'd expect pillow talk from his New York City owner, enraptured with Noodle.
And you want to talk about going off the deep end, like we're there.
But with over 1.7 million followers...
Oh, and he's feeling jazzed!
Seems like everyone's going off the deep end.
Noodle said that it was quite alright if I don't leave my house all night.
Blame Noodle, and maybe you won't end up in the doghouse. Jeannie Mose, CNN.
It's a no bones day.
New York.
If you had a good day today, thank Noodles the pug, because today is a Bones Day.
Until he can enact his administration's plan to vaccinate children between the ages of 5 and 11 against COVID-19, President Biden awaits approval of the vaccination from the FDA and recommendation by the CDC. The Biden administration says they secured enough vaccination doses for roughly 28 million children in the U.S. The plan will depend on pediatric and primary care provider sites to administer vaccinations to children instead of the max vaccination sites used by most adults.
After a chaotic stretch of starts and stops, Capitol Hill Democrats are stepping up the urgency for compromise on President Biden's massive domestic agenda. But there's still a long way to go. Karen Kaifa has the latest on the updated plan from Washington.
Democratic leaders inching toward a legislative framework for President Joe Biden's social spending plan.
We're getting closer to an agreement. We want to finalize a deal by the end of this week, but we all must keep moving together.
To move in tandem with the bipartisan infrastructure plan by the end of the month.
We are all feeling very positive about the coming together that is clearly occurring as we land these planes.
Amid discussions between the White House and congressional Democrats, sources say areas for compromise on the social safety net and climate bill include dropping Biden's plan for tuition-free community college, an extension of the child tax credit for just 1 year, and likely with means testing to satisfy moderate Democrats. A reduction in proposed funding for elderly and disabled home care, and scaling down Biden's paid leave proposal for workers to 4 weeks from 12. The plan's price tag now around $2 trillion. That's higher than the $1.5 trillion targeted by West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin, a key Senate swing vote, lower than the $3.5 trillion initially sought by progressives.
The Speaker has been clear on our priorities, and I think most of them are her priorities as well.
Democrats hope to pass both bills by October 31st and post a victory before Election Day on November 2nd to boost party prospects, like in the tight Virginia governor's race. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
This news comes as Senate Republicans blocked Senate Democrats as they tried to pass elections legislations earlier today.
The gunman who carried out the shooting at Majority Stoneman Douglas High School in February 2018 pled guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. In the next phase of the trial, a jury will decide whether the gunman will be sentenced to life in prison or the death penalty. The prosecution plans to seek the death penalty. The gunman committed the deadliest high school shooting in the U.S. history.
FBI Special Agent in Charge Michael McPherson says human remains alongside items believed to belong to Brian Laundrie were found in a nature reserve in Northport, Florida. McPherson says the FBI will likely remain on the scene for many days and is processing the area using all of their available forensic resources. The remains, which include a backpack, were found in an area that was underwater until recently. The discovery comes exactly 1 month and a day after the remains of Gabby Petito, Laundrie's fiancée, were found in Wyoming.
Police are searching for a 4-year-old girl who went missing from a campsite in Western Australia on Saturday. Cleo Smith was staying in a tent at the Blowholes campsite in McLeod, where her parents say they woke up to find her missing. Lewis Rennie from 9 News has more details from Perth.
Helpless and heartbroken.
She would be terrified. She would be so scared.
Ellie Smith speaking through tears 4 days into a nightmare with no end in sight.
The tent was completely open. It was about 30 centimetres from being open, and I turned around to Jake and I just said, like, Claire's gone.
Her precious 4-year-old Cleo still missing from this remote WA campsite after vanishing from their family tent on Saturday. They put her to bed in her pink pyjamas on Friday night. By morning, she and her sleeping bag were gone.
She would never leave that tent alone.
Investigators struggling to solve the baffling mystery. Is little Cleo lost, or worse, was she snatched?
Beautiful, delicate. She has like the biggest heart. She just so funny.
Interstate Police joining the public appeal as the hunt goes national. Cleo Smith's parents have spent every day in that campsite nervously waiting for some good news. But with every hour that passes, the likelihood of a happy ending fades away. An unseasonable storm hampering the search effort this morning. 6 hours lost in a race that already has time against it.
Really all we need is a little go home.
Louise Rennie, 9 News.
Today marks 6 days since Cleo Smith went missing. The Army is now assisting police with the search.
Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic is refusing to reveal his vaccination status, which may prevent him from competing in the Australian Open. Australia's federal immigration minister says anyone who enters Australia must be double vaccinated, and no one will be exempt from the rule. Djokovic currently has 20 Grand Slam titles and is the #1 tennis player in the world. The upcoming Australian Open tournament is planned for January 2022. Coming up in sports, Trent Wilkinson.
Trent, can you give us a quick preview?
Tonight we recap the volleyball team against Casanova Wildcats, plus an agreement is made between Aaron Boone and the New York Yankees. All that for you after this break.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Here at WTOP, we pride ourselves on delivering you all the news you need to know from the day's events.
Whether it's happened on Capitol Hill or right here in Oswego,
we make sure you know all about it. We keep you up to date on all your favorite
Oswego and professional sports.
And our Storm Team 10 meteorologists will make sure that you know exactly what weather you're up against when you start your day.
Every Monday through Thursday night, make sure to tune in to channel 10.2, because at WTOP, we don't just tell you the news.
We are
the news.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Good evening, I'm Trent Wilkinson with your WTOP Sports Update. Last night, the Oswego State volleyball team swept 3-0 against Casanova Wildcats. In what was their highest percentage of the season, they recorded a .315 hitting percentage. And along with that, Cara Simplicio and Grace Taylor each recorded 3 aces of the 8 in total. Their next meeting will be at Potsdam this Friday, where they will be looking to pick up their first conference win of the season before its conclusion. Yesterday, the Department of Athletics announced that Adam Regano is promoted to a director's role in athletic communications. He was hired in Oswego 2 years ago as assistant director after being part of athletic communications office at SUNY Brockport and Monroe Community College. He had been in charge of athletic communications office for a period of time in spring and fall season this year. After losing to the Boston Red Sox in the wild card 2 weeks ago, speculation rose on Aaron Boone and his job security as manager for the New York Yankees. The speculation was ceased yesterday after the New York Yankees and Aaron Boone agreed to a 3-year deal plus a team option of 2025 to remain as manager for the Yankees. He has led this team to 4 playoff seasons, and he's looking to make a World Series appearance under his tenure. A number of council members in Buffalo passed a resolution in relation to a new stadium in Buffalo. By passing this resolution, it would include new jobs, investment in infrastructure, and public transportation. As it stands with the resolution, they are calling on the National Football League and elected leaders for serious consideration in constructing a new stadium near Highmark Stadium. The 76th NBA season commenced in Milwaukee with the defending champions Milwaukee Bucks had their pre-festivities before squaring off with Brooklyn Nets. Let's go to the first quarter. Giannis looking for a 2-pointer in his first shot. In and out, and then the rebound for second chance points, got it. And then a rifling pass by Middleton to Giannis, slams it for the dunk. But not only was Giannis good on the paint, he was good beyond the arc, hitting a 3-pointer right there. And then to the opposite side of the court, Harden, Griffin, Claxton, bam! A block would be made by Giannis as he was unstoppable in all areas of the court. But let's not forget, you have James Harden for the Brooklyn Nets. 3-pointer against Giannis, nails it. One of his 4 3-pointers of that night. Let's not forget of Kevin Durant as well, making another 3-pointer. And then Durant to Griffin on the alley-oop. Griffin dunks it. 34 points were scored in the second quarter by the Nets after scoring 25 in the first. Let's go to the third quarter. Giannis shifting the same gear he had in the first quarter with a layup on Kevin Durant. And then in the middle of the fourth quarter, Giannis against 2 net players goes into the paint, picking up another 2 points, and then to top it off, made an assist to Pat Connaughton. And how about that? 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks in total for Giannis as the Bucks start off their opening season with a 127-104 victory over the Nets. And another news involving the Department of Athletics, they hired Juan Martinez as the interim head coach for cross country and track and field. Before arriving to Oswego, he was the head coach of cross country at Bryant and Stratton in Syracuse, where multiple athletes in that college represented at the USCAA National Championships, and at Jamesville DeWitt High School for varsity and modified cross country and track and field, where he, along with the program, won indoor track sectional title, and multiple athletes proceed to compete in the New York State Indoor Track Championship.
We're going to toss with the weather with Evan
Vedran, yeah. Everybody always mispronounces it. For the rest of the week, we can see some colder temperatures and then some rain heading into the weekend. As we move into next week, you still see colder temperatures, more cloud cover, maybe some breaks in the clouds, but overall, generally cloudy, gloomy, normal for this time of year in Oswego.
All right. That's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the next OP.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.